Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a good one because this is going to be my largest book haul yet. I have stacks of books that I have been getting from different bookstores. All of them are local bookstores, all of them are independent bookstores, independent small bookstores. Not all are local. I took a trip up to Winston-Salem last weekend. Well, by the time you see this, it'll be a couple weekends ago, but last weekend, and I got a good many books from there. So I have some from the local bookstores here, local bookstores there. All the bookstores I will link so that you guys can shop there. I'm pretty sure all of them you can buy from on their website. So like if you don't have a local bookstore in your area and you just really want to support one, you could do it this way. So I'll link the bookstores down below, and then I'll also list all the books down below so that you guys can grab one off the list. So I'm going to go ahead and start going through my piles here. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 books in all. So I have 17 new books to go over with you guys. So let's start. Let's see if I can do this without making the biggest mess ever. All right. And of course, as you know, all of these are going to be thrillers, right? Thrillers, mysteries, and horrors. So the first book I have is Where You End, and this one's by Abott, Kahler, or Kahler. Not so sure how to pronounce that. But this is this one. This one says, from the best-selling nonfiction author Abott Kahler comes a spellbinding fiction debut inspired by true events. An unusual form of amnesia derails the lives of identical twins, forcing them to face the indelible danger shadows of the past. Okay, now I remember what this is about. I've been collecting these over the last couple of months, and I'm like, wait, what is this about? So yes. So basically in this one, one of the twins wakes up in a coma, and she sees her sister Jude, and she can't remember anything except her face and her name. So Kat is the one who was in the coma. Kat tries to relearn her history and identity, and she trusts Jude will provide all the answers. But as months progress, Kat begins to fear that maybe Jude has been lying to her. Recruit, hunt, perform, or perish. Growing up in an isolated community, the girls studied poetry and literature, but also played dangerous games of cunning and savagery, games with dark lessons that follow them into adulthood. Now with Kat's mind a blank slate, Jude invents an idyllic childhood in the hope of erasing the darkness of their history and all the threats it still holds. As Kat pulls at the threads of Jude's elaborate tapestry, those threats draw closer. When the past and present finally converge, the twins must risk everything to save their unique bond and ultimately each other's lives. So that's what this one is about. So the next one is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. It's by Benjamin Stevenson. And I think this is a new book. He has another one, I believe, that I've been seeing pop up. But I got this one not knowing that it was a new book. I just thought it was interesting. And I actually like mysteries or like thrillers that take place on trains. So I got this one. Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. The debut writer, me, the forensic science writer, the blockbuster writer, the legal thriller writer, the literary writer, the psychological suspense writer. So basically, all of these people are invited to like a crime writing festival, and so they're going on this train ride. So it says, but the gone, just reading a little snippet, but the gone is not the respite I'd been hoping for. It turns out I've trapped myself on an 1,800-mile journey with a power keg of grudges, crime writers with hidden secrets, overeager fans bearing conspiracy theories, and agents and overeager fans bearing conspiracy theories, and agents and editors undercutting each other in order to sign the next big thing. When one of us is murdered, the remaining writers turn into detectives. Together, we should know how to solve a crime. Of course, we should also know how to commit one. So that one sounds really, really interesting. And that's this one. One moment. Oh, things you should not do. Start cooking and then start recording a video. Yep. Okay, so the next one, The Dead and the Dark by Courtney Gould. So this is how this one looks. So The Dark has been weird. I swear, every time I look at this, I feel like it's not printed. straight on, and I feel like it's slanted. It could just be my eyes, because I don't always see straight. But anyway, the dark has been waiting, and it won't stay hidden any longer. Something is wrong in Snakebite, Oregon. Teenagers are disappearing, some turning up dead, the weather isn't normal, and all fingers point to TV's most popular ghost hunters who have just come to town. Logan Orts Woodley, daughter of TV para specters, has never been to Snakebite before. But the moment she and her dad arrives, she starts to get the feeling that there is more than ghosts plaguing the small town. Ashley Barton's boyfriend was the first teen to go missing, and she's felt his ghost following her ever since. Although everyone shuns the Ortiz Woodleys, the mysterious Logan may be the only person who can help Ashley get some answers. When Ashley and Logan team up to figure out who or what is haunting Snakebite, the investigation reveals truths about their own town, about their town, their families, and themselves that neither of them are ready for. As the danger intensifies, they realize that their growing feelings for each other could be a light in the darkness. Courtney Gould's thrilling debut is about the things that lurk in dark corners, the parts of you that can't remain hidden, and about finding home in places and people you didn't expect. So this is this one, and I believe this is a young adult book. So yes, that's that one. The Twisted Ones. Now this one is actually by Kingfisher, and I didn't know. So I have another book by this author. I already talked about it in one of my other book hauls. Hopefully I'll be getting to it soon. And then I saw another book on the shelf by them, and I was like, oh, well, I already have one by them. I didn't realize I also had another one. And this is one called, it's by Kingfisher, The Twisted Ones. They are actually the author of one of my favorite books. So they wrote What Moves the Dead. It is a very short book, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think this one is considered to be like a horror. It's based off of like the Fall of the House of Usher characters, whatever like that. But I did really, really like this, which is what made me want to read more by them. So I have this one as well. And this one says, when Mouse's dad takes her to clean out her dead grandmother's house, she says yes. After all, how bad could it be? Answer, pretty bad. Grandma was a hoarder, and her house is packed to the gills with useless garbage. There's a period there. That would be horrors enough, but there's more. Mouse stumbles across her step-grandfather's journal, which at first seems to be the ravings of a broken mind, until she encounters some of the terrifying things he describes herself. Alone in the woods with her dog, Mouse has to confront a series of impossible terrors, because sometimes the things that go bump in the night are real, and they're looking for you. And if she doesn't face them head on, she might not survive to tell the tale. So that's this one. And this one is actually considered to be a horror book, which is what I think this one was considered, like a horror, but it was a soft horror, but a really good one. All right, the next one I got is Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. So that's this one. Jake Hayes is missing, this much is certain. At first, his wife Nina thinks he's blowing off steam at a friend's house after their heated fight the night before. But then a day goes by, 2 days, 5, and Jake is still nowhere to be found. Lily Scott, Nina's friend and co-worker, thinks she may have been the last to see Jake before he went missing. After Lily confesses everything to her husband, Kiersten, the two decide that nobody can find out what happened leading up to Jake's disappearance, especially not Nina. But Nina is out there looking for her husband, and she won't stop until the truth is discovered. People be your friends, but they don't really be your friends. I'm just saying. All right, the next one is The Weekend Retreat. It's by Tara Laskowski, and that's what this one looks like. Every year, the illustrious Van Ness siblings, heirs to a copper fortune, gather at their secluded winery estate for a joint birthday celebration. It's a tradition they've followed nearly all their lives, and now they're back with their significant others for a much-needed weekend of rest and relaxation away from the public spotlight. With lavish comforts, gorgeous scenery, and indulgent drinking, the trip should be the perfect escape. But it soon becomes clear that even a remote idyllic getaway can't keep out the problems simmering in each of their lives. As the old tensions are reignited, the three couples are pushed to the edge. Will their secrets destroy them, or will they destroy each other first? And who's been watching them from beyond the vineyard gates? When a torrential rainstorm hits, plunging them into the darkness, the answers prove all too deadly. There we go. And that's this one. Now, yes, I'm going to keep going on these ones. All of these were from the same bookstore. So, I don't know why I stopped to say that. But yes, I haven't gotten to the other stores yet. What Lies in the Woods? And this is by Kate Alice Marshall. So there we go on that one. All right, there were 11 when they sent a killer to prison. They were heroes, but they were liars. Naomi Shaw used to believe in magic. 22 years ago, she and her two best friends spent the summer roaming the woods, playing a game that became an obsession and a refuge. That sanctuary was shattered when Naomi was attacked. Miraculously, she survived her stab wounds, and the girls' testimonies put away a serial killer. They were heroes, and they were liars. Now, after fresh tragedy strikes, Naomi sets out to discover what really happened in the woods, no matter how dangerous the truth turns out to be. Very interesting. And okay, so here's where I wanted to stop, because all of these books that I got were actually from the local bookstore that I go to here in Charleston, and that's Iterant Bookstore. So I will make sure that I have their link next to these books. So that's why I wanted to make sure I was stopping at the right place. All of those came from that bookstore. Now, the next set of books that I'm going to go through all came from a bookstore called The Bookshop inside of Winston-Salem. It is the cutest little bookstore. I'll insert some footage here of what it looks like. Super cute. The people were super nice. The salesperson was able to pick out some books for me, like that she had heard were great thrillers. So I just wanted to stop and highlight The Bookshop, because that's where these books came from. So I just want to make sure I highlight that one so you guys can check them out if you're in the area, if you live there, or if you're visiting there, or if you just want to like support a local bookstore. Like I said, you can order online, because I did make sure to ask her. So the first book I got is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. And I had actually read the back of this book a while back, like last year. But, you know, there's so many books and you're trying to figure out which ones to get. I didn't get it, but I read the back this time and I was like, okay, I'm going to get it this time. So this one says, can you stop a murder after it's already happened? Late October, after midnight, you're waiting for your 18-year-old son. He passed curfew. As you watch from the window, he emerges and you realize he isn't alone. He's walking toward a man and he's armed. You can't believe it when you see him do it. Your funny, happy teenage son, he kills a stranger right there on the street outside your house. You don't know who, you don't know why. You only know your son is now in custody. His future shattered. That night you fall asleep in despair. All is lost until you wake. And it is yesterday. And then you wake again and it is the day before yesterday. Every morning you wake up a day earlier, another day before the murder, with another chance to stop it. Somewhere in the past lies an answer, the trigger for this crime, and you don't have a choice but to find it. I love a good Groundhog Day thrown inside of a mystery. So I was like, or a thriller. So I was like, okay, I think this one's gonna be good. So I decided to get it. And like when you look in it, the words in this is like super big. They are super big. So I feel like it's gonna be like a super easy book to kind of get through. So yes, that is this one. The next one I got, my new favorite series to read. I've been trying to find a series because I wanted to have like an author that I can go back to where one, I knew they had books that I liked and had more than one, because y'all know I get caught up in this debut novelist thing where I always find people who have these great books and I fall in love with the book and they got like one book or like two books and I'm like, what am I going to do with that? So I was in a bookstore. I talk about this bookstore. It's called the Bodacious Bookstore, I think. It's back in Pensacola, Florida, and I went there and the salesperson there was talking about this series. Now this is the second book. I just finished the first book and by the time you guys see this last month, so I will already have talked about it, and I absolutely love it. I was 60 pages in. I was like, this is my group of people. It gives Matlock vibes. It gives Golden Girls and Golden Boys, because, you know, it's about this group of people in a retirement community, a luxury retirement community, and they basically solve murders. So this is the second book. It is a funny book. It is not a serious thriller, and that's what I like about it, or mystery, because this is considered more of a mystery. Yeah, well, mystery. It is considered a mystery. It's not heavy. So like I like these books because after you, like all I read are thrillers. So sometimes it's like I need something a little light that is easy, where it's not too daunting. So people are still getting killed, but it's funny, like in a funny way, because we're figuring out how they do it. And these group of people, these 4 group of seasoned men and women are hilarious, and they just use all their wits, their knowledge. And I like the fact that they're not just painted in a way where they are invalids and they can't do anything. No, they're former like nurses and psychiatrists, one still practicing, you know, people who are, you know, still they were successful in their careers, and they still have sharp minds, still very witty. And one woman, we don't know what she did. Like, I don't know if this lady was a hitman back in the day, or like she was just working for some questionable people, but she know a lot and got a lot of connections. So I really, really, really like this series. I think there's like 4 or 5 books so far. Like I said, I've read the first one. And it also does touch on like not second chance romances, but second romances, I guess you would call it. You know, I'm not a romance girl, but if you sprinkle it into the little thriller, the horror, or the mystery, I'm for it. So, you know, they're older. Some of them have already lost their spouses. So they talk about that. They talk about their new boos and stuff that they want to get with. And then they also talk about the fact that some of their friends are like in the nursing home, or like people die there, and that's a normal thing. So I really like the series. This one is called The Man Who Died Twice. It's a Thursday Murder Club mystery. So it's a mystery. And it's by Richard Osman. And this one says the Thursday Murder Club are still riding high off their recent real-life murder case, and are looking forward to a bit of peace and quiet at Cooper's Chase, their posh retirement village. But they are out of luck. An unexpected visitor arrives, desperate for their help. He has been accused of stealing diamonds worth millions, and he's seriously on the lam. Then a body is discovered, and Elizabeth, Joyce, Ron, and Ibrahim soon find themselves up against a ruthless murderer who wouldn't bat an eyelid at knocking off 4 septuagenarians. I really need to look that word up. Can our unlikely friends catch the killer before the killer catches them? Richard Osman is back with everyone's favorite mystery-solving quartet and an unput-downable, laugh-out-loud pleasure of a read. And it really is that. Like, I enjoyed the first one. This one is actually shorter, the way the book feels. I'm trying to look for the other one, but this one seems a little shorter, but I'm excited. And like I said, it is a series, and there are more books in that series. The next one is The Women in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I actually have read 2 of her other books, The It Girl and One by One. I liked both of them. I thought they were really good. So she is another go-to artist for me. So this will be my 3rd book by her. The thing about this one is there is literally no real synopsis. On the back of the book, they don't give you a synopsis. So I really don't know what this book is about. All you get is an edge-of-your-seat thriller on the most beautiful yacht in the world, full of great characters and twists. Y'all should check it out. This beach read thriller has sun, suspense, and goes with the SPF. A psychological thriller that will keep readers spellbound. The intense final chapters just might induce heart palpitations. And I will say that is like her MO. Like, the book is going to be going along, things going to be happening, but in the end, she gonna pile it on. So this one doesn't actually have like a synopsis, so it's kind of cool because I'm going in it not really knowing what the heck it's about. But as an author, she is good. And like I said, I've already read 2 of her books, so you can watch some of my other wrap-ups and hear what I thought about those. Now this one, One Night, One House, One Dead Body, Midnight on Beacon Street. This is a novel by Emily Ruth Verona. It's a thriller, and it's a really small thriller. It is under 200 pages, so I thought that was cute. Was giving old school R.L. Stine vibes, just because, you know, those short books that we read when we were kids. So I grabbed this one, and I was like, okay, this will be nice to throw in to my reads, have something quick. So this is also a debut thriller. It says a suspenseful debut thriller and love letter to vintage horror movies in which a babysitter must overcome her own anxiety to protect your children when strangers come knocking on the door. October 1993, when single mom Eleanor Mazinski goes out for a much-needed date night. She leaves her two young children, sweet, innocent 6-year-old Ben and precocious, defiant 12-year-old Mira, in the capable hands of their sitter, Amy. The quiet 17-year-old is good at looking after children despite her anxiety disorder. She also loves movies, especially horror flicks. Amy likes their predictability. It calms the panic that threatens to overwhelm her. The evening starts out normally enough with games, pizza, and dancing, but as darkness falls, events in this quaint suburban New Jersey house takes a terrifying turn. The unexpected visitors at the door, mysterious phone calls, and by midnight, little Ben is in the kitchen standing in a pool of blood with a dead body at his feet. In this dazzling debut novel, Emily Ruth Verona moves back and forth in time, racketing up suspense and tension on every page, chock full of nods to classic horror films of the 70s and 80s. Midnight on Beacon Street is a gripping thriller full of electrifying twists and a heartwarming tale of fear and devotion that explores our tears and the lengths we'll go to keep our loved ones safe. So that's this one. The next one, actually, that is all from the bookshop. So I got these 4 from that first store that I explored in Winston-Salem. Now, the next 5 are actually by the Book Ferret. That was the 3rd bookstore I went to. So here's a little clip of me going in there. I went to the 2nd one, and that one was okay. I will link it below, but I didn't find anything there. But that's still a 3rd option for you to explore. I just didn't find anything I wanted. So this first one I got, When No One Is Watching. So this is by Alyssa Cole, and this is actually a Black author. And I don't really come across a lot of like Black thriller, mystery, or horror authors. So I thought this is cool. She does write other things though. She writes like historical, contemporary, and sci-fi romance. So her other books are not horror, but this one is. Or thriller. Rear Window meets Get Out in this gripping thriller from a critically acclaimed and New York Times notable author, in which the gentrification of a Brooklyn neighborhood takes on a sinister new meaning. Sydney Green is Brooklyn born and raised, but her beloved neighborhood seems to change every time she blinks. Condos are sprouting up like weeds, for sale signs are popping up overnight, and the neighbors she's known all her life are disappearing. To hold on to her community's past and present, Sydney channels her frustration into a walking tour and finds an unlikely and unwanted assistant in one of the new arrivals to the block, her neighbor Theo. But Sydney and Theo's deep dive into history quickly becomes a dizzying descent into paranoia and fear. Their neighbors may not have moved to the suburbs after all, and the push to revitalize the community may be more deadly than advertised. When does coincidence become conspiracy? Where do people go when gentrification pushes them out? Can Sydney and Theo trust each other or themselves long enough to find out before they too disappear? I was like, okay, and I love me some Brooklyn. I love New York, one of my favorite places to visit. Then this one here is called Don't Go Down There. It is by Kiersten Modglin, and this is a short little cutie too, so I was like, okay, for the little short books. Spencer Edwards has a beautiful wife, 2 perfect children, and a sinister secret locked in his basement. When Andy Edwards discovers her husband isn't where he's supposed to be and isn't answering her calls or texts, a flurry of scenarios race through her mind. Is he hurt? Is he cheating? Is he dead? The truth she soon finds out is so much worse than she could have imagined. As she struggles to make sense of her new and chilling reality, she must decide whether to stand by the man she loves and help protect him, or walk away and let him pay for his sins. With time running out, the secret in the basement becomes more dangerous and the spine-chilling truth becomes clear. If she makes the wrong decision, she stands to lose much more than her marriage. When their best laid plans come back to haunt them, what will Spencer and Andy be willing to sacrifice to survive? So that is what this one looks like. And like I said, it's a very short book, under 200 pages. And the words are pretty average, I feel like, but still a shorty. The next one, now I feel like a lot of people have probably read this or heard about it, because typically, like when I go to bookstores, I like to ask like the people who work there, like what's their favorite, and I kind of always say, don't just give me you know, the recommendations that everybody's talking about, because a lot of times those books are overhyped or aren't really good. And like a lot of the books that I've read, most of them I haven't heard about. And when I do see somebody else talking about the book, I'm like, oh, I got that one, or I read that one. So I get really excited, but I'm not too into just reading what everybody else reads, because a lot of times the books, sometimes, I'm not saying they're not going to be good, but sometimes, you know, it's just because it's hyped up. But this one I have heard a lot about. It's called Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. So I got it because the guy was like, he can't keep it on the shelves. A lot of people like this one. So think you know the person you married. Think again. Things have been wrong with Mr. and Ms. Wright for a long time. Every anniversary, the couple exchange traditional gifts, and Adam's wife writes him a letter she never lets him read. Until now. Self-confessed workaholic, Adam Wright has face blindness. He can't even recognize his own wife, and Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. When Adam and Amelia went a weekend away to Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs. This weekend may make or break their marriage, but they don't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary they will never forget. So if any of you have read this, I am definitely interested to hear your thoughts, because I've heard a lot about this book, and I'm finally reading it. So we will see how good it is. Now, the next book is another book that I've heard other people talk about who do book reviews, and the woman who actually recommended this one and the next one I got, she actually is a bit into thrillers and things like that, and she mentioned that this one is a really good one. She did mention that this author could be hit or miss, but she said this was one of the good ones. So I said I'd give it a try. It's called The House Across the Lake, and it's by Riley Sager. So once again, if y'all have read it, let me know. Be careful what you watch for. Casey Fletcher, a recently widowed actress trying to escape a streak of bad press, has retreated to the peace and quiet of her family's lake house in Vermont. Armed with a pair of binoculars and several bottles of bourbon, she passes the time watching Tom and Catherine Royce, the glamorous couple living in the house across the lake. They make for good viewing. A tech innovator, Tom, is powerful, and a former model, Catherine, is gorgeous. One day on the lake, Casey saves Catherine from drowning, and the two strike up a budding friendship. But the more they get to know each other, the longer Casey watches. But the more they get to know each other and the longer Casey watches, it becomes clear that Catherine and Tom's marriage isn't as perfect as it appears. When Catherine suddenly vanishes, Casey immediately suspects Tom of foul play. What she doesn't realize is that there's more to the story than meets the eye, and that shocking secrets can lurk beneath the most placid of surfaces. So that's this one. Excited to read it. And now we have this one. So she recommended this one too, and the reason I'm laughing is this by Lisa Jewell. I read one of her books. It's called The Family Remains. The Family Remains is actually, I believe, the second book in a 2-book series or 3-book series, but I didn't go back to the first one because the second one just had too much going on. I was like, I don't want to absorb any more of this. But it was a real letdown because she built up one of these characters and you just thought he was really going to pop off and some like good stuff was going to happen, and it fell so flat. And it was funny because when she pulled this one, I was like, nah, I read this other one, and she was like, yeah, I completely understand, and I felt the same way. So we were in both of us felt the same way about that book, but she said this one was really good, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give her another chance. And this is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. So hopefully Lisa redeems herself, because I was mad. I was like, I wanted that guy to be as psycho as she painted him to be, and he wasn't. But anyway, no one ever just disappears. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughter and his youngest, Poppy, takes Laurel's breath away. Because the eerily precocious Poppy is the spitting image of Ellie. And now the unanswered questions she tried so hard to put to rest begins haunting Laurel anew. Where did Ellie go? Did she run away from home as the police have long suspected, or did something more sinister happen? A haunting page turner of sheer perfection. Then She Was Gone is a gripping and emotionally resonant tale of one mother's quest to uncover the clues she failed to recognize and discover the truth of what happened to her daughter. So we gonna see. That's all I'm saying. So the last book I got is actually from the local bookstore here in Charleston that I go to. I actually went back there a couple of days ago just to see if they had anything else I wanted to get, because I knew I was about to do this video, and I was like, well, let me check to see if I've missed anything that I should be adding to the collection right now. I believe this is also a new one, because I've seen this pop up in some of like the book newsletters I get. It's called End of Story, and it's by A.J. Finn. It says, the past isn't gone, it's just waiting. So this one says, I'll be dead in 3 months, come tell my story. So basically, Sebastian Trapp, he's a reclusive mystery novelist who's a longtime correspondent. Let me start over. This is why you shouldn't skip words. So he wrote that to his longtime correspondent, Nikki Hunter, an expert in detective fiction. With mere months to live, Trapp invites Nikki to his spectacular San Francisco mansion to help draft his life story. To help draft his life story while living alongside his beautiful second wife, Diana, his wayward nephew, Freddie, and his protective daughter, Madeline. Soon, Nikki finds herself caught in an irresistible case of real-life detective fever. Y'all, I promise you I can read. I'm just struggling. The next part says, you and I might even solve an old mystery or two. 20 years earlier, on New Year's Eve, 1999, Sebastian's first wife and teenage son vanished from different locations, never to be seen again. Did the perfect crime writer commit the perfect crime? Gosh! And why has he emerged from seclusion 2 decades later to allow a stranger to dig into his past? Talking about Nikki. Now it says, life is hard. After all, it kills you. As Nikki attempts to weave together the strands of Sebastian's life, she becomes obsessed with discovering the truth. While Madeline begins to question what her beloved father might actually know about the long night. That long ago night. And when a corpse appears in the family's koi pond, both women are shocked to find that the past isn't gone, it's just waiting. So I'm actually interested to know if Madeline is his daughter from the first wife or the second wife, and if that's her brother and her mother that are missing. But anyway, that's this one. I actually really like the writing. It's like typewriter writing in here. So yes, I am super excited. Those are all the books that I have added to my backlog back here, and I'll be reading and of course giving you guys the wrap up once I read them. But if you have any of these books that you guys are going to be reading, let me know your thoughts on them. Don't give me any spoilers. Let me know your thoughts though, and we can even read them together. So these are all the books. Here is the first set, and like I said, the independent bookstores I got these from, I will be linking. So that's stack number 1. And then we have stack number 2. All these books. We love books. So these are all the books that I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this haul. And for those of you who are new, my name is Sarah. Thank you for watching. For those who are coming back, thank you so much for coming back. Join the fam if you have not already. And let's, do life together. So thank you guys for coming. I'll see you in the next one.